Hello, fourth grade. This is Mr. Garcia. Today we are going to be adding and subtracting mixed numbers in word problems. Our I can statement says I can add and subtract mixed numbers in a word problem. Our bell ringer today is turn the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So if you guys want to get out a scratch piece of paper and do it on there, you can. Pause it and then press play when you're done. All right, so I'm going to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. I have to multiply 2 times 4 plus 3. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11 fourths. Next one, I'm going to multiply 3 times 8 and then add 5. 3 times 8 is 24, and plus 5 is 29 eighths. Next one, I'm going to multiply 4 times 5 and add the 4. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 4 is 24 fifths. Next one, 7 2/3. I'm going to multiply 7 times 3 and add the 2. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 is 23 thirds. Next one, 6 2/3. I'm going to multiply 6 times 3 and add the 2. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20 thirds. Next one and my last one, I'm going to multiply 10 times 5 and add the 4. So 10 times 5 equals 50, plus 4 equals 54 fifths. Before we start with the word problems, we're going to do a quick review. Just a reminder, when you are adding fractions, you have to have the same common denominators. So my 3's are my same common denominators. And then what you could do is add the fractions. So 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3. And then you can go back and add the whole numbers. So my 4 and the 2. And that is 8. So my answer for this is 8 2/3. Next slide, same thing. Same common denominators, absolutely. So now I'm going to add my fractions. So 3/5 plus 3/5 equals 6/5. And then I'm going to add my whole numbers. So my 5 and the 4, which equals 9. You can leave it like this, or since my numerator is bigger than my denominator, what you can do is turn that into a mixed number. So 5 can go into 6 one time, and there is 1 remaining, so 1 1/5, and then add the 1 to the 9 to make it all 10 1/5. Like I said, you can leave it like this if you want, or if you want to simplify it, you can do it that way. I'll take both answers. All right, next slide here. Quick review. Now we are subtracting fractions here. Again, same common denominators, yes, the 8's. Next thing I'm going to look at is this. My first fraction and my second fraction. If my first fraction is bigger than my second fraction, I can subtract straight up. In this case, my 7/8 is bigger than my 4/8 because my 7 is bigger than my 4. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 7/8 minus 4/8 to get 3/8. Then I'm going to go back and subtract my whole number. So 5 minus 2, that equals 3. So my answer is 3 3/8. Next slide here. Again, same common denominators, absolutely, the 5's. Okay, next thing I'm going to look at is my first fraction and my second fraction. Since my first fraction is smaller than my second fraction, I have to turn these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So times plus 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 is 22/5, minus, same thing, times plus 2 times 5 equals 10, plus 4 equals 14/5. Now I can subtract it. 22 minus 14 equals 8 and then fifths. You can leave it like this, or you can simplify it. Since 5 can go into 8 one time, be a 1 whole, and then there's 3 out of the 5 remaining. Again, if you want to leave it like this, like an improper fraction, you can, or if you want to simplify it, you can. I will take both answers. Alright, my first story problem here, word problem, says this. Kenny had a cornstalk that was 3 1/4 feet tall. After a month, it had grown 6 2/4 feet. What was the total height of the plant after a month? What was the total height? Since we're talking about the total here, we are going to be adding the two mixed numbers. So 3 1/4 plus 6 2/4. Again, I am going to first add my fractions. So 1/4 plus 2/4 equals 3/4. And then I'm going to go back and add my whole numbers. So 3 plus 6 equals 9. My answer would be 9 3/4 feet. All right, next word problem here. Again, you guys can pause it, do it on a scratch piece of paper, and then press play. This one says, while exercising, Jesse jogged 2 2/3 miles and walked 3 2/3 miles. What is the total distance he traveled? Again, since they want the total distance, I'm going to add 2 2/3 plus 3 2/3. So 2 2/3 plus 3 2/3. Again, I have the same common denominator, so I'm going to add the fractions first. So 2/3 plus 2/3, which equals 4/3. Then I'm going to go back and add my whole numbers. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. If you want to leave the answer like this, you can, or you can simplify it. Since 4 or 3 can go into 4 one time, this could be 1, and then there's 1 remaining, 1 1/3, and then you raise the 1 and you add it to the 5 to make it 6 1/3. Again, I'll take both these answers. They are both equivalent. Next one says, on Monday, Macy spent 2 1/3 hours on her schoolwork. On Wednesday, she spent another 2 1/3 hours on her schoolwork. What is the combined length of time she spent on her schoolwork? Since they're asking for the combined length of time, I'm going to need to add 2 1/3 plus 2 1/3. So 2 1/3 plus 2 1/3. Again, I have the same common denominators, my 3's. I'm going to add 1/3 plus 1/3 first to get 2/3, and then I'm going to add my whole numbers, so 2 plus 2, which equals 4. So my answer would be 4 2/3 hours. And since the numerator is smaller than the denominator, I can just leave it like that. I don't have to simplify it. Next one says this. Well, actually, this is true. Today is my dog's 2nd birthday, and I'm going to try to bake him a cake, see how it goes. All right, Mr. Garcia was baking a cake for his dog's birthday. He had 7 1/4 cups of flour, but only used 2 3/4 cups. How much flour did he have left? Okay, so how much flour did he have left? Okay, so with this one, I'm going to actually subtract, since I had 7 1/4 cups of flour to begin with, and I used 2 3/4 cups to bake the cake. I want to know how much flour I have left. Okay, so again, same common denominators. Second thing I'm going to look at is the fractions, the 1/4 and the 3/4. Since I can't subtract 1/4 minus 3/4 because my 1/4 is smaller, I have to turn these into improper fractions. So times plus. Okay, 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 equals 29 over 4. Minus, again, turn it into an improper fraction. 2 times 4 plus 3. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 equals 11 fourths. Now I can subtract 29 minus 11 equals 18 over 4. If you want to leave it like that, you can, or you can simplify it. It's up to you. 4 can go into 18 4 times. So my whole number could be 4, and there's 2 out of the 4 remaining. Again, if you want to leave it like this, you can, or if you want to simplify it, you can go ahead and do that too. I'll take both of these answers. They're both equivalent. I have a next one. It says a large slushy uses 4 1/3 cups of ice. A small slushy uses 1 2/3 cups of ice. How much more ice? So how much more ice does the large slushy use? Okay, so since it's asking me how much more ice it uses, I'm going to subtract the large slushy. So 4 1/3 minus the small slushy, 1 2/3. Again, same common denominators. Now I'm going to be looking at the fractions. My first fraction is 1/3. My second fraction is 2/3. My first fraction is smaller than my second fraction, so I have to turn it into an improper fraction. So 4 times 3 plus 1. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 equals 13/3 minus, again, improper fractions, 1 times 3 plus, 2. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5 over 3. Now I can subtract. 13 minus 5 equals 8. And then 8/3. If you want to leave it like that, you can, or you can simplify it. 3 can go into 8 2 times. There's 2 out of the 3 remaining. If you want to leave it like this, you can, or simplify it. You can as well. It's up to you. They're both equivalent fractions. I have my last one here. For his birthday, Clancy received 5 2/5 pounds of candy. After a week, he had eaten 2 4/5 pounds. How many pounds of candy does he have left? Okay, so how many pounds of candy does he have left? I have to subtract here. So I'm going to take 5 2/5, because that's how much candy he had to begin with. And then Clancy ate 2 4/5 pounds of candy. Again, same common denominator, so I'm going to look at my first fraction here, which is 2/5. And 2/5 is smaller than my second fraction, 4/5. So I have to turn these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 5 times 5 equals, plus 2. 5 times 5 equals 25, plus 2 equals 27/5. Minus, again, 2 times 5 plus 4. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 equals 14/5. Alright, now I can subtract. 27 minus 14 equals 13/5. If you want to leave it like that, you can, or simplify it. It's up to you. 5 can go into 13 2 times, and there's 3 remaining. 3 are the 5 remaining. If you want to leave it like this, you can, or simplify it, you can. It's up to you. They're both equivalent fractions. All right, today's work, I'm going to read through them. Number 1 says this. Robin bought a bamboo plant that was 9 4 feet tall or high. After a month, it had grown another 3 1/5 feet. What was the total height of the plant after a month? Number 2, while exercising, Adam jogged 4 4/5 kilometers and walked 2 3/5 kilometers. What is the total distance he traveled? So the total combined distance. Number 3, on Monday, Tiffany spent 5 2/8 hours studying. On Tuesday, she spent 2 1/8 hours studying. What is the combined length of time she spent studying? Number 4, a chef bought 6 5/9 pounds of carrots. If he later bought another 10 7/9 pounds of carrots, what is the total weight of carrots he bought? Number 5, in December, it snowed 9 1/10 inches. In January, it snowed 5 2/10 inches. What is the combined, so the total amount of snow for December and January? Next one here, number 6, Gwen had 7 1/7 cups of flour. If she used 3 5/7 cups baking, how much flour does she have left? Number 7 here, a chef had 3 2/4 pounds of carrots. If he later used 2 3/4 pounds in a recipe, how many pounds of carrots does he have left? So he had 3 2/4 pounds of carrots, and then he used 2 3/4 pounds. How much does he have left? Number 8, a large box of nails weighs 3 1/8 ounces. A small box of nails weighs 2 4/8 ounces. What is the difference in weight between the two boxes? Difference in weight. Number 9 here. For Halloween, Maria received 10 3/6 pounds of candy. After a week, her family had eaten 5 2/6 pounds. How many pounds of candy does she have left? Remember, she started off with 10 3/8 or 3/6 pounds of candy. Her family ate 5 2/6. How much does she have left? And number 10 here. While exercising, Victor traveled 5 3/4 kilometers. If he walked 4 2/4 kilometers and jogged the rest, how many kilometers did he jog? Okay, for this last one, I'm going to help you out here. Okay, he traveled a total of 5 3/4. So 5 3/4 kilometers. He walked 4 2/4. The rest of it, he ran. How much did he run? Super easy. You're going to subtract 5 3/4 minus 4 2/4. The last thing here is our work is going to be adding and subtracting mixed number word problems. Today, I'm not going to give you a home link because it's Wednesday and word problems are usually pretty hard. I do still want you to go on Dreambox or Prodigy for 15 to 20 minutes a day. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always email me or join my Zoom meetings every Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. And keep up the good work, 4th grade.